right. Is it on? Hi.
Hi.
I'm Elisa Johnston with Average Advocate. I empower everyday, ordinary people like parents and people that care about justice stuff and also just people that are rising leaders that want to make a difference in the world and are influencing people. I help you guys figure out how to do that, like by both being the best person that you can be, like so you're healthy and you're a healthy leader and you're healthily making a difference in the world. At the same time, I'm also giving you kind of tools and tips and ideas how to do that and how to get involved in social issues and kind of what's going on in the world. So anyways, I'm here with my daughter.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name's Abby.
Yeah, her name is Abby. We are in a public location, and as soon as we started putting up the video, cars turned on and hammers started banging. But you know, we figured that we would never do it unless we actually did it now. So we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So what I am talking about today, or what we're talking about today, is something that is called the 3 to Flee Challenge.
Yep.
So this is something I saw maybe a week or two ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. A week or two, I don't know, a while ago on from World Relief, I believe. Oh gosh, I hope I said that right. So anyways, they're an organization that works a lot with refugees around the world. There's literally a guy with a hammer over there hitting a bookshelf. Completely random. Anyways, sorry. But anyways, this organization, they work with refugees around the world, and especially in the United States, and bringing people into the United States or not, depending on what our laws are, but they just do really cool stuff in general. So anyways, what we wanted to tell you about is what we would bring if we were a refugee. So, do you know what a refugee is?
Someone who's like fleeing from a country.
Yeah, usually.
Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So why would they flee? What would be some reason?
Or
famine.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like no water runs out, like like natural disasters. But usually refugees often leave because of war, and refugee is kind of just a generic term that we use to describe people who are leaving a location. Technically, legally, the definition is a little bit different because you actually have to, you could be an internally displaced person, or you could, which means that you might not officially be a refugee, and then there's amnesty seekers, which is a different type. From a legal perspective, but generally speaking, we just use the word refugee overall to just describe people that had to flee, leaving their homes for safety reasons, and if they didn't flee, there's a high likelihood that they would be seriously injured or die. So right now, refugees is kind of like a huge deal because there are more refugees in the world right now than there have ever been. This has a lot to do with the wars that have been going on in the Middle East, especially Syria, and the Arab Spring. But then also, there's stuff going on in Myanmar, and then there's usually stuff going on in Africa, and then now there's stuff at the U.S. border, which I've been talking about a lot also, where refugees are coming up from Central America and trying to find safety and not able to find it. Yep. So the 3 to Flee challenge is essentially, is essentially a thing to kind of create awareness for what's going on with refugees, because a lot of people don't really know about it, or they vaguely know about it, but they're kind of scared to talk about it because they're afraid of judgment, because there's a lot of opinions about refugees and what type of rights that they should have or not have. But it's actually okay to still care about people that have to flee their homes, despite what political side you stand on of what their rights should be, especially if they're coming into the United States. Most of us would not want to be the ones who are fleeing, and that's why we kind of put ourselves in the shoes of refugees with the 3 to Flee challenge. And so what are we supposed to what 3 things are we supposed to tell people with that? So we're 3 to Flee. So we're going to flee.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to bring 3 things with us. If we're only allowed to bring three things with us, what 3 things would we bring?
Well,
what 3 things would you bring?
I would bring a sleeping bag, shoes, and clothing.
Why?
A sleeping bag because of that it would be easier to sleep if you're traveling everywhere.
So that's where would you put it on your back?
Probably, yeah, or something like that.
Tie it onto you.
Yeah.
You have a really cool sleeping bag.
Yeah, it is really cool. It comes with a pillow.
Yeah, it has like a koala on it. Really. So, and why clothing?
Clothing because maybe like if you get wet or something when you're trying to like flee or something, who knows, like
Need clothing.
yeah, you
Change
might
clothes.
need
Yeah, that's valid.
period.
And then what else?
Shoes because like if you wore flip-flops like tennis shoes. If you wore flip-flops, it might hurt your feet and you might get like blisters.
Yeah, especially if you're walking a lot.
Yeah.
Or you could break your foot, like I did
Yeah.
recently when I was wearing flip-flops.
Yep.
Those are good things to bring.
Yeah.
So the 3 things that I chose were money, because I'm the adult and it's possible that people might take my money and I can get places and food. I would take my phone and charger in hopes that maybe I would find electricity and I could download a bunch of maps on it and pictures. So even if I
Before it
didn't,
dies.
yeah, if it does die eventually, I might find electricity again. So that would be good. And I could be in contact with people if I found Wi-Fi or whatever, and I'd have my contacts on there. And the third thing, I was actually going to say tampons or, period supplies, because I realized I would definitely want those. But then I realized I totally forgot about it. So I took a picture, and the picture, I did not put those, and I put in a water bottle, kind of like this one, because a container would be useful to carry water in. So that's actually very valid. Both of those are very valid. So I'm not sure which one I'd actually bring because it would be hard to decide. And my boys also chose some stuff. So this weekend I'm going to I'll post something with those pictures and whatnot that will show you the things that all of us chose on our own that we would bring, because we want you guys to know what's going on with the refugee crisis, and we think this is something that is easy for you guys to kind of put yourself in other people's shoes, and it's something you can talk about with your kids, just to kind of help us understand refugees and what's going on in the world with them, and spend 5 minutes looking it up and being aware that this is kind of a big deal, and if that was happening to us, we would want people to care. So it doesn't mean you have to know how to care or what to do about it yet, or who to donate to, or whether you should take people into your home, but it's just the idea of opening our eyes to what is going on in the world around us with the 3 to Flee challenge, and talking about it with your family, or just anybody that you're like having a meal with, whether you go out to lunch with people after church or whatever you do, just to talk with people and be like, what would you bring? If you had to run from your home really quickly, what 3 things would you bring with you? What would set you up for success? So those are the things that we talked about and what we chose, and I encourage you to check out World Relief and what they're doing and do your own 3 to Flee challenge. All right, that's it. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and if you want to learn more, you can always go to averageadvocate.com, where I talk about this stuff all the time. Bye.
Right here.
Yeah. Okay.